Welcome to the counterculture counterattack. Welcome to the RazörForce offensive, where we perform Spurg-right surgery, severing the spine from the dormant glob of gray matter they confuse with a brain, and declare fatwa on the fuckwads, disloyal and dipshit alike. Brandish your rifles and Mausers, mount your steeds, and join the offensive. I am your intrepid host, Razorfist, alongside Taryn Gell. How are you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another offensive.
Indeed, folks, it is time. It is time. We've been looking forward to having the interview today for quite some time. I figured, an awful lot of perpetually podcasting autismomancers love to talk about Iran. They don't so much love to talk to Iran. Tucker Tarleson confuses the occupying Ayatollah regime with Iran, which may or may not be the reason we were able to glass their entire leadership in a single bombardment. Thanks, fuckhead. But the actual oppressed citizens, the Persian people who have slaved under the yoke of Islamo-Commie tyranny for 47 years, not so much. So we're going to go ahead and ameliorate that condition. We're going to fill a void in the podcastosphere here today. We're going to talk with an actual Iranian. We probably would be interviewing someone that I know, but sadly, since all of this violence popped off, and I do fear the worst, I have not heard from anyone I know in Iran since all of this. They were very, very openly anti-regime, and their parents were in extremely, I don't know how, in case they're safe, I don't know what I want to reveal, but they were in prominent positions, right? So they would have been first in line for culling, shall we say. So I've been very worried about it. I've been praying about it, and I would actually appreciate if you guys kept them in your prayers, because I have no idea what's going on. There's such a fog of war. Hopefully we can lift some of that fog here tonight. Are you looking forward to this, dude?
Yes, I'm actually looking forward to hearing a better account of what's going on.
Indeed. One thing I have been looking forward to, Taryn, is something that happened just today.
Oh, you changed your name. That's right.
No. I had been waiting on that for a while. By the way, I am officially Razorfist on social media. No more zero, folks. We're going to have to go through all our old videos and edit that crap out of the end. But Razorfist with an O instead of a zero, but no umlaut still. They're still anti-metal. They're bigoted against metalheads on X. But something bigger happened.
Oh?
Something, as I said, more overdue than my Blockbuster tapes. Bro. Pam Bondi done been boofed. Do you have that story, brother?
Shouldn't we bring up the Star Wars victory theme at the end of Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, I think we should have the medal ceremony playing, actually.
I do
Michelle
believe
Obama
this
can
be
play
it.
the part of Chewbacca, yes. Oh, there we go. Yes, indeed. Heading to a much-needed and important new job. There is an element to that, and maybe we should get to it at the end, because everybody's kind of dancing the lambada around her burning corpse, and certainly a lot of us have been calling for Bondi to either be reprimanded or removed or moved to a powerless position or whatever. But there is an element of she might have just been fire-moted. That does happen a lot, especially when you have a set of boobs. Strange how that works. Just ask Kathleen Kennedy. But Pam Bondi out as U.S. Attorney General, heading to a much-needed and important new job in the kitchen. Temporary replacement, Todd Blanche. We will continue backing the blue. Hopefully not the blue no matter who. Enforcing the law and doing everything in our power to keep America safe. All right.
She's going to go live on a farm where she can be happy.
Yes, exactly. She went to live with your grandparents.
Oh God. President Donald Trump on Thursday confirmed that Pam Bondi is out as Attorney General, heading to a new and much-needed job, and Deputy Todd Blanche will serve as
Which, by the way,
replacement.
Must be said, Todd Blanche, we know why he's interim. He's not good. We do not want him permanently in this position.
Before we continue, I saw it floating out there. People saying Matt Gaetz. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, Yeah, who better to look into underage trafficking victims than a man who has made several himself?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not wild about that at all. I am really not wild about that as a choice. Fuck Matt Gaetz and all of his supporters.
I'm personally supporting Stephen Miller.
Dude, I'd support Stephen Miller for anything. You're in the immortal words of the Iron Sheik in this Iranian-themed episode, you're intelligent Jew. You're
Yes. God, I miss that bastard so much.
I miss him so much.
Could you imagine him seeing all this going on? He'd be
Yeah.
cheering. Anyway, President Donald Trump on Thursday. Oh, I already read that. Pam Bondi. Oh, actually, you should be reading this.
What's up? Pam Bondi is a great American patriot and a loyal friend who faithfully served as my Attorney General of the past year. Pam did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown in crime across our country, with murders plummeting to their lowest level since 1900. We love Pam, and she will be... Man, what happened in 1899, bro? What? Can I just ask? We love Pam, and she will... It's probably the Indian Wars. We have a different Indian war now. We love Pam, and she will be transitioning to a much-needed and important job in the private sector to be announced at a date in the near future. And our Deputy Attorney General and a very talented, respected legal mind, Todd Blanche, will step in to serve as acting Attorney General. Thank you for your attention in this matter, President Donald J. Trump, the president wrote on social media. God, his truths are getting more and more into the block of text territory, and I'm not wild about it. Give us a good Diet Coke tweet, Trump. Come on. Give us another Diet Coke, or Rosie O'Donnell's Cankles tweet. Give us another one of those. We like the pithy Trump.
See, I hear that there's going to be a Diet Coke fountain out in front of the ballroom that he's building.
Yes, right. Well, that may or may not happen, right? Federal judge gonna step in and stop the private funding of a ballroom like a freaking head of state headquarters is a terrible place for a ballroom. What?
So I'm not expecting a real answer here, but how exactly does a judge say you can't build a thing that you legally own and have complete jurisdiction over? Like, what's the law here?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Blanche wrote, Pam Bondi led this department with strength and conviction, and I am grateful for her leadership and friendship. Thank you to President Trump for the trust and the opportunity to serve as acting Attorney General. We will continue backing the blue, enforcing the law, and doing everything in our power to keep America safe.
Yep.
Reports had confirmed the moves were being made. Fox's White House correspondent, Peter Doocy, said, as I just reported on Outnumbered, Pam Bondi will soon be moved to another job in the administration. Todd Blanche will be elevated to AG, right? Blah, blah, blah.
You know how old Pam Bondi is, by the way?
No.
You
What?
don't? You should
No.
look it up real quick and put it on
Okay.
screen. You should look it up real quick. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea.
Age. Son of a bitch.
This is going to blow your mind,
Pam Bondi. Age.
dude. 27, yes.
Excuse me?
Actually, I think she's 62. I think that's actually incorrect. But I think it's 62. Yeah. Well, right? Makes you feel bad about yourself, don't it? What the fuck?
Is she drinking Elvira's blood? What
Right?
do you mean
That's
she's
what I'm
60?
saying, dude. Should we have someone in the administration who is clearly subsisting vampirically? Is this? I don't want anyone in the admin who's being kept alive with Egyptian magic. Okay, let's just say that outright. Bondi met with Trump in the Oval Office Wednesday night ahead of his speech to the nation on the war in Iran, where she reportedly was informed of her ouster. That's a word you only ever hear in the media. According to two sources, that and kerfuffle, familiar with the meeting. One of those sources said that by the time Trump took his place behind the podium for the address, Bondi had already lost her job and was on her way back to Florida. By the time he took the podium, which, by the way, could you real quick scroll down a little bit and I'll read. And if you could look up Trump's speech, because somebody in the chat said something that was a complete lie, that Trump came out and said he's not going to support regime change in Iran. He actually said the opposite. He said we've basically already eliminated the entire regime, but if they won't play ball or they won't negotiate or they won't cease aggression, then we'll consider further steps. So that was actually a bunch of bullshit. I know, someone lying on the internet. You're shocked.
I was going to say it.
So I want to make sure that we watch that speech, or at least a portion of it, or a clip, maybe when our guest gets here. Mm-hmm. Our guest, of course, is, and I apologize in advance if I butcher this. I haven't had to pronounce an Iranian name in a really, really long time. Mun Rahimi, I think, is going to be joining us very, very shortly, and I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we can get her reaction to that. I don't think she's posted about what she thought of that particular speech, incidentally. But that report suggested Environmental Protection Agency Director Lee Zeldin was being considered as a replacement, as Trump held a meeting with Zeldin at the White House Tuesday to discuss wildfire and prevention, where talks of the transition also unfolded. According to an individual familiar with the meeting, a Department of Justice official declined to elaborate on the reports. All right, well, that's all I can read until Taryn finds. Did you find it?
Are we looking for the regime change clip? I did find that.
Just the speech that he did yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we don't need the whole thing, even just a clip would be fine, but he basically said, and actually, I forgot to give this to you. Somebody made a chart of just how much of the Iranian leadership is dead. And you've gotta have.
Oh, I think I saw that earlier.
Oh, it is metal.
Okay, 1 second here. I got to get all my ducks in a row.
I shot it over to you.
Here we go. We can watch this.
Well, we might want to wait until our guest gets here to watch it. To watch it. At least. Is that the whole thing?
No, it's just a 25 second clip.
Yep. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But let's see here. We got to. Zedekiah, I've been waiting for this. The blackpilling around this has gone too far. People who should know better are losing the faith. I think a lot of them do know better. And I think a lot of John Doyle made a really, really good video about this, about how basically the incentives were in one direction a moment ago, and now they've moved into a different direction. And you notice the people who have consistently throughout their careers, we're talking podcasters now, who have only followed the incentives and not the principles, those people have all moved in the same direction. So it's losing the faith? No, I think they were faithless to begin with. Keep the faith, RazörForce, and Godspeed, Iran. Godspeed, sir. It irks me that everyone is saying America's at fault for Hormuz instead of, and that must be said, there is no tract of existence where I would believe, there's no alternate reality where I would honestly entertain the notion that there was a single prospective battle plan drafted that didn't take into account that Iran would immediately try to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. I'm sorry. It's a major artery for oil. There's no reason it wouldn't have been mentioned. There's literally not one version of reality where I believe that wouldn't have been factored in, which is, I think, why in Trump's speech, I don't know if the clip that you have mentions that, but in it, I remember him mentioning, this is a temporary thing that we have to sort of grin and bear just for a moment. And then it'll go back to normal. It'll be big and beautiful, whatever. So he kind of referenced that. And that to me is an indication, I think they already kind of knew, that they were at fault for Hormuz instead of Iranians bombing commercial boats. It's like America saying America's at fault when North Korea fires missiles because we provoked them. You do notice the only common element, some of these people are left, some of these people are spurg right, but the only common element is America is always wrong. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
It's the only consistent thing. It's their only consistently expressed position.
It's always capitalism's fault that socialism fails.
Isn't it always, though? Isn't it? It's kind of like whenever anything happens in South America, CIA plot.
Oh, yeah.
First off, why would you give the CIA credit for that? Like, I thought you hated the CIA. Why are you saying they did something good? But yeah, Timothy Finch, so glad Trump's speech last night wasn't a ceasefire announcement. Was afraid he would let the market pressure him into leaving the war half done. I would, this is something that he consistently said, and it's also something that I appreciated in his speech. And that was that he underlined something that Dave Smith has been pretending not to notice. Sargon has been pretending not to notice. Tucker Carlson's been pretending not to notice. Richard Barris, Robert Barnes, all the people who are trying to rewrite history as Trump was the anti-New Wars, anti-bombing Iran candidate. Trump underlined all the previous statements he had made going back to 2015. And actually, he undersold it. It's even before that. He was talking about this in the 1980s. In the 1980s, Trump was talking about bombing Iran. 2011, I caught several tweets of Trump. We, of course, talked about it here on The Offensive. We went tweet by tweet. We were able to go all the way back to 2011, him saying, let's go knock the hell out of Iran, whatever. But I appreciate it. Trump actually putting a big, thick black underline underneath that so that people couldn't say otherwise. They still will. They'll still lie. They'll still say, oh, he betrayed his base, he whatever. But yeah, I appreciated that he did that. All right.
I don't know about you, but I voted for him to do something like this.
M&I, hey Razor, just letting you know your Twitter seems to have been banned, and or no, it hasn't been. I am Razor Fist with an O now. So
update your bookmarks.
Yes, I am officially Razor Fist with an O. All right. It's been a long time coming. A long, long time coming. Congrats on finally snagging your proper Twitter name. Godspeed, bro. You didn't have to pay me for that. My goodness. All right. You're moving up in the world, Razor. I just saw a VTuber react to your wokeness is hibernating video. Really? Which one? Wow.
He donates it and then he doesn't say which one.
I know. You didn't. What the heck? Of course, some VTuber names are a little not appropriate for work, so who knows? Prayers to your friends in Iran, Godspeed. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. Today was Maundy Thursday, by the way. I just got back from service. It was incredible. So, okay, I have a decent-sized church or whatever, but normally it's just the choir in the back of the church and, whatever the congregation sings, like any Lutheran church, I guess. You got the choir up on the big shelf behind, kind of like a Catholic church. This Maundy Thursday, they had a mezzo soprano. They brought in an actual opera singer to sing the Psalm 88 and stuff at the end of the. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. All right, congrats to the RazörForce for surviving World War III Part 5. I still love that tweet. Tucker Carlson has correctly predicted 47 of the last 0 World War IIIs. Hope we win. The Black Pillars have a come to Jesus moment and stop with the dooming, praying for Iran. Godspeed. Godspeed, sir. Yeah, we probably should talk about this a little bit, Taryn. Were you observing the Japan-America love-in on X?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it happened.
Was it an algorithm thing? What was it? I'm
not sure.
So it didn't happen on my feed. I didn't see a whole. I started to see, as the days went on, I started to see more tweets from Japanese people and what have you. It's annoying to me, by the way, that it auto-translates, because sometimes the translations are not good. I'd rather have it in Japanese so I could actually read it and know if
there's a way to turn that off.
Yeah, the auto-translate's really obnoxious. But I did start to notice that cropping up. This past week on X, Japan and America love during the week. Eurofags start opening their stupid mouths because they didn't heed the warning of Trump 1.0 about buying oil from terrorists and Russia. It is wild the extent to which the UK and Spain and other countries and even Italy have taken exception to the very idea that they should secure their own sources of oil.
Oh yeah, did you
They want
happen
to
to
call
see that?
yeah, they want to call America the Great Satan, say they're the world police and all of it. But the moment we recede from the picture and say, okay, take care of it yourself, they're like, you can't do that. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, did you happen to see that speech by the guy? I don't know who it was, but he was talking to NATO, and he's like, "If you think we can do just fine without America, you're delusional." Like he was giving it to NATO, like, "Yeah, America's in this. We cannot do this without them."
It's the extent to which we have essentially been the world's military
Yeah,
is if anything understated. You know, we had our Team America World Police thing, but sort of the implication there was a lie. The implication was, well, we want to just swing our dick around and whatever. There's an element of that is other countries sort of demand it so they don't have to spend lots of money on their military, which is why, by the way, they're able to turn around and spend tons of money on state-mandated suicide and socialized medicine and all their goofy communistic programs, right?
and wind generators and all that crap.
Yeah.
Speaking on the whole oil thing,
So,
Trump told them that they were screwing themselves in his first administration. He said, "You're giving up your nuclear plants. What the hell are
before
you
that,
doing?"
when I was going through all the tweets about Iran, he'd occasionally mention that. Right? When I was going through just his whole Twitter history of talking about Iran, going back to 2012, 2011, 2010, he's talking about freaking these countries basically leaning on the U.S. as their little attack dog. You know, that's essentially been the understanding for a long, long time. Let's see here. Glad Pam is gone, but Todd Blanche is much, much worse. Have to replace him with a pro-Constitution. I couldn't agree more. Harmeet Dillon, perhaps. Not the worst. Is there anyone you would throw out there? People are floating. Well, go ahead. What would you think of?
Stephen Miller. I'm very okay with that idea.
Yeah.
Lock them all up.
Yes.
I believe 100% he would get the job done.
Yeah.
He would start making arrests.
What's wild to me is, Bondi was so thoroughly discredited, but almost no one who was complicit in that goofy ass binder bullshit was discredited similarly, right? For some reason, except Jack Posobiec, but he's only losing friends because he blocked them all. But there were a whole bunch of people who were like, the binder's being released is going to prove everything. And they just, rather than admit they bullshit their entire audience, they just pivoted to, well, I was betrayed. I was an innocent babe in the woods. I didn't lie for a living or anything. You freaking clowns. How could you How could you not see through the Spurg right? I don't understand. I do not understand. I guess it's because I've hated Tucker Carlson since I first noticed he was alive. When I first saw him pre-PBS, like 2003 or something like that.
I thought he started there.
No, PBS was a later gig that he scored. He was already kind of a pundit a little bit, but yeah, he had a PBS show that was basically like Now with Bill Moyers or the NewsHour with Jim Lehrer, but soft neocon conservative, which is why I just have to laugh my balls clean off my body that to criticize Tucker Carlson, who has consistently been a neocon his entire life, and he's still a neocon, by the way. He's just a neocon who whines about Jews. Somehow this has become the litmus test by which you are a conservative or not. I have more consistently expressed a conservative position on all the major issues of the day than Tucker Carlson. That's not my opinion. That is an outright fact, right? Taryn Gell has, and he's not even really a political pundit.
Yep.
Tucker Carlson flip-flops at the earliest convenience. Let's see here. I'm excited excited to meet your guest today, Razor. I just recorded a video on Iran, and I'll be uploading that with a second video on my Faithcast channel. Oh, he's got a faith-based podcast, I assume. Got speeding down with the IRGC. Is there an IRGC left to go down? Is there? I don't know. Let's see here. Fun fact, my sis works at NASA as a PR and social media person, is credited in a movie dealing with NASA, and was on a USN ship during the Artemis pod re-entry testing for ocean extract. What do you think about this? Actually, you know what? You want to dig up a headline about the launch real quick? Because that kind of came out of nowhere. I'd like to actually talk a little bit about the Artemis pod, just a tiny bit. I did laugh my balls off, though. Ruben Gallego was like, I'm so proud of NASA and the Artemis team. And he voted against every single measure for space exploration that Trump put forward. Every single one. And Mark Kelly, he's screwed because he's done nothing but be the anti-Trump for how long, and now his entire identity is being a fake astronaut. What does he do, right? All right. I don't know if you have it. Let me know if you do.
Yeah, I'm just, I guess what, do you want to see the launch or?
Oh, just an article about the launch would be fine. Emperor Creatine. Hello, sir. New at the Daily Gondor. Has King Aragorn abandoned Gondor first? New king launches brutal assault on peaceful Umbaran corsairs. Gondorians once again dying for Erebor. By Nicholas Wormtongue Fuente. The only thing that took longer to come than Bondi getting fired was Fuentes with a female masseuse. People are actually floating permanent replacements for Bondi from, Paul. I heard Rand Paul, Matt Gaetz, of course.
Yeah.
But I have a humble suggestion. We need someone who terrifies both Republicans and Democrats. We need someone who can reduce the entire DNC to rubble, reducing them to a fine, powdery ash. I'm talking about, folks. There is only one man for the job, and that man is Joe Biden. That's the only... or possibly Michelle Obama. Maybe, possibly.
See, I thought you were going to say Corn Pop.
Oh, he may be the only person able to counteract the effect of Joe Biden.
Oh, here's a quick one. Artemis 2 crew experienced issues with Outlook this morning and had to ask ground crew for assistance. We have 2 Microsoft Outlooks and neither one is working. That's funny.
That's glorious.
Trying to find a decent article here.
Razor would really love to see you make a dedicated video about Alex Jones calling him out and everything. It's way overdue. Someone does. He lost his mind. It's funny. I shelved a video that was basically about that. And I've talked about it before, but Taryn filmed it. I had this wacky idea of, hey, let's do a rant, but I'll do it while I'm out and about on the street. I'll be walking around. We went to like this dingy alleyway and it was like, okay, I'll be kind of walking around ranting and whatever, and it was cool, but the audio sucked. And
yeah, we didn't have lapel mics yet.
We didn't have lapel mics, and we didn't even have a boom mic yet. I bought that later, so the audio was just trash. It was unusable. It was clipping the whole time. It sucks because it was really good. It was like a joint rant about Alex Jones being a retard, his record of lying about shit and never recanting. And
you still have that footage?
Probably. Yeah, it's probably still laying around somewhere, but it was a good rant. It was really good. I shit all over Jesse Ventura because he was doing conspiracy theory at the time. But yeah, we kind of did that years ago, and it was sort of before we even really were regularly talking about politics. I was going to do it as a razor's edge kind of thing. That was the off-topic, non-gaming rants or whatever, but I was... Anyway, we shelved it, sadly. Already read that one. Trump could have simply never hired that ditzy dame. True. All right. Why do people that know nothing of her hate Ayn Rand? I talked about this a little bit on Friday, but I think mostly you have kind of 2 groups who go after Ayn Rand. Mostly it is leftists who are sympathetic with socialism and communism. I find it's even more intense on the democratic socialist side, where they're like trying to sell themselves as sort of the new Coke version of socialism. They hate her even more because she lived through, I am convinced of this, she lived through the October Revolution. And so she could truthfully attest to what had happened in Russia and what communism actually looks like in practice. She got out. She dedicated her entire life to bashing communism. And I think even more unforgivably, she identified the philosophical root of communism. I think this is why many on the collectivist right hate her. This is why you get two groups that hate Ayn Rand almost equally, because collectivist left, communists, hate her for all of the things I just mentioned, and then the collectivist right hate her because she hated collectivism. And she correctly identified that, hey, you could have an ersatz right that is just as collectivist as the left, and then, of course, that ascended in her own lifetime, and that was Nazism and fascism and so on. And she identified that as really, that's your enemy. It's not that you have to oppose fascism and Nazism and communism. These are all masks that collectivist governments wear. So she was sort of firmly in opposition to that. And by the way, I think that's her best contribution, that she really, really nailed down that sort of fascism, communism, Nazism, these are all distractions in a way. The enemy is collectivism. Is Japan America's greatest ally? Man, after a month of the UK going kicking and screaming to do anything at all, even the most remedial thing to aid the United States and even themselves in the Strait of Now. I mean, come on. It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue. All right. Yes. Crew headed to the moon. Now they are, Taryn, they are just slingshotting around the moon, right? They're not landing.
Yeah, they're not landing. I think, honestly, this feels like a test.
It
feels like we're just going there. We're going to see if we can actually get there. If, modern day tech can, actually carry us that far. I think Artemis 3 is going to land on the moon. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think it's scheduled for 2027, or is it 8?
That might be correct, but we'll see.
7 or 8. And I yell to the cabbie, yo home, smell you. Anyway, continue.
NASA's Artemis 2 mission lifted off on April 1st at 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The 4-person crew will go on a 685,000-mile, 10-day journey around the moon, also known as a lunar flyby.
All right. So, Taryn, got to ask you, how many wizards do they find there?
0.
Peter Dinklage will be up there just in a wizard's robe. That was such a deep cut. No one's going to remember that meme. One's going to remember that meme.
I cannot believe his delivery was so bad. How long did it take for them to actually patch out his voice work and replace it? Was that like a month, maybe 2?
Yeah, I don't know.
What to know about NASA's Artemis 2 moon mission. Let's see. Artemis 2 will make history, taking astronauts around the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. The 4-person crew will launch from NASA's, we already went over that. The trip will pave the way for future American Artemis missions, intended to eventually see astronauts set foot on the moon and the building of a permanent lunar base.
Wow. Are we going to get the intro from Star Hunter? Are we going to get that little dome base on the freaking moon? How rad would that be?
And here we have a little map just to give you an idea of what's happening. They're slingshotting around the Earth first and then heading for the moon.
Oh, here's the real question. Quebec Patriot asks the burning question. Is Katy Perry part of the crew? This is the important bit.
Jesus Christ.
She's gonna come back to Earth and tongue kiss the ground or whatever she was doing.
I said, at least they named the ship Artemis and not the Von Braun.
Yeah. Thank God. Oh, good God.
Crew experienced an eclipse on day 6 of the mission. Cool.
Yes.
Translunar injection burn was flawless. These are all updates.
Yeah. Normal, man. Picture this. Artemis discover a moon base on the dark side of the moon and find out it's a scam call center.
No, how did they get there first?
Do not disembark the lunar module.
Let's see what a viewer had to say about it.
Why do you want to be here? Why do you love space? Why do you love being a part of history?
Going back to the freaking moon, that's why.
Frickin' moon! Because no one on the moon can make fun of my faggy hat. Jeez, that's rad. Oh, man. Keep going.
Oh, go back here.
Oops, hold on.
Crew reports phenomenal views of the Earth. Astronaut Jeremy Hansen told Mission Control that the crew is glued to the window of the spacecraft enjoying views of Earth.
Uh-huh.
None of us can get to lunch because we're glued to the window. We're taking pictures.
Put them on the glass.
Did they see the ice wall?
What? Oh, yeah? I wonder if they could see the gigantic dark spot where North Korea is. You can literally see that from space, guys.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know.
Actually, that freaking satellite photo is insane. This almost feels wrong. It's almost as if Turner colorized you. Razor Fist now in color. Godspeed.
Humanity has once again shown what we are capable of. Speaking to Mission Control after the successful translunar injection burn, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen shared a message of gratitude saying, we firmly felt the power of your perseverance during every second of that burn. Yep, they're actually doing.
You think you would live through another mission to the moon, man?
It doesn't happen under anyone else.
Well, I mean, a first mission to the moon, but this one won't be directed by Stanley Kubrick, so it'll be a little shorter.
Right. Hopefully the editing of this one will be better.
Yeah, hopefully it won't have so many pacing problems. And now we're going to go to a wide shot, and there's Nicole Kidman's ass right on the lunar summit.
And directed by
Godspeed. All right. Translunar injection. I think clavicular takes those, actually. Fucking. Oh my gosh, dude. Speaking of finding engines on the moon, did you hear about, and speaking of the UK, you hear about freaking Easter doesn't get a message from the King of England, but Ramadan does?
I mean, at this point, are you surprised?
No. I mean, geez. It's the UK. Late stage UKism. Has he forgotten his oath? I mean, let's be honest, looking at his personal history, Charles, not big on oaths, especially wedding ones. Not a big one. Not a big. His sympathy for Islamism is impacting his religious role as head of the Church of England. Tell me again how Christian nationalism is going to bring us all back. King Charles of Great Britain is getting scorched online for refusing. I think he was getting scorched in that portrait, actually. That freaking, what the hell was that thing? For refusing to release an Easter message this year. After all, he went out of his way to acknowledge Islam's Ramadan. Among the comments, his sympathy for Islamism is impacting his religious role as head of the Church of England and defender of the faith. Makes me want to listen to Priest. Go down.
Let's see. And yet he found time to warm.
Ah, there we go. There we go. We should watch this heartwarming message.
Oh, God. Do we have to?
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Mubarak.
Oh my gosh, they voiced him
Ladies
over.
and gentlemen, as Muslims across the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth begin preparations to celebrate Eid after fasting for the holy month of Ramadan, I just wanted to convey my heartfelt best wishes.
Can I say,
to all who celebrate.
I don't mind it as long as he keeps pronouncing it Ramadan. I think I'm actually okay with it. Keep going. It's like aluminium.
And to tell you just how much my wife and I are thinking of you at this special time of year. This last year, I know, has been deeply challenging for us all. And I'm only too aware of the impact of the pandemic on the Muslim community. This year, so many families, like my own, will have an empty seat at their dinner table.
So many families
friends
like my
on their
own,
lobby.
except married to child brides in arranged marriages.
Able
And
to
fasting
share
from pork.
a
Anyway,
celebratory hug after Eid prayers.
wow.
Okay, that's a weird place to put it. End it.
No
Or
Easter
was that
message,
just supposed
though.
to be a clip?
Yeah. What are the odds he drops an Easter message now out of pressure? What do you figure the odds are? I mean, tomorrow's Good Friday. No message on Maundy Thursday. Good Friday, I don't see it happening. We'll see, I guess. I mean, it's Holy Week. We didn't hear anything from the guy who's supposed to be the head of the Church of England. That's pretty wild. Wow.
It's so shameful what has happened to the UK. It's a good case for history. It's like, hey, look at what happened to England. Don't let this happen to you. But it's still just to live it and witness it is just, it's so sad.
Breaking news here, Taryn.
Ah.
Artemis 2 lost when the pilot rolled down a window to blast crappy rap music after a federal judge ruled the astronauts must abort Trump's illegal moon invasions. There you go. I wonder if we'll technically be anchor babies if we land there. I don't know.
We must bomb the moon. It's in our best interest.
Werner von Braun became an outspoken Christian. Reminder, Buzz Aldrin took communion on the moon. He was actually, he studied for the priesthood just so he could take communion on the moon in the lunar capsule, I believe. What is he? Is he Presbyterian? Episcopal? I can't remember. Maybe Roman Catholic. I'm not sure. But he actually went to seminary, did the whole 9 yards just so he could take communion on the moon. That's absolutely crazy.
Well, if you would like to read a few more chats, I will look that up, actually.
All right. You'd think the English would be sympathetic to overthrowing Iran's Muslim-occupying government, given that they are going through the same thing at the moment. It is kind of wild. They'd like to be liberated themselves, but they're more interested in really cosplaying as something they're not than actually advocating the change of any regime, let alone their own. All
Presbyterian.
Right. He was a Presbyterian. That's what I thought. One of the good Presbyterians. One of the good Presbyterians.
What, he was one of the good ones?
Man, Presbyterians today is all bets are off. It's kind of like ELCA Lutherans, right? They got the rainbow flags everywhere and right? Okay. They won't baptize babies unless they're transitioning. All right. Bondi was a terrible choice from the outset. She withheld exculpatory evidence in the Trayvon Martin case that proved Zimmerman was innocent. I know she had a whole past in Florida before all that, but I didn't hear that particular part. I heard some of the highlights or lowlights rather, but I didn't hear that particular one.
Yeah, I admit I knew nothing of her before she became AG.
My gamer for life. Imagine how few memes we'd have of Destiny if Dinklage gave a crap about his job. Taryn. That wizard was from the moon.
I can't believe I played that crap when it came out.
It was not bad gameplay-wise. It wasn't. All right. Here. Moonbase incoming. Hey, remember when the left was laughing about the need of a space force? Yes. How long has Trump had this planned if he founded the Space Force all that time ago? How long?
I think it's always, didn't he say during his first term that it was a dream of his that America should go back to the moon? I could have swore he said that at some point.
Yeah, I figure. All right, let's see here. Honestly, I feel like Halo is the most plausible future and we're heading towards it. God, that would be amazing. Can't believe we're going back to the moon and building a base soon. What form do you think the moon base would actually take? Is it going to be like the movie Moon? Which, by the way, there's a sci-fi movie that you all need to watch if you haven't already. That's an amazing movie.
Moon is brilliant. I highly recommend it. If you guys have not seen Moon, I believe that's 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
2010. Yeah, great movie.
Amazing. Definitely watch it. I think it'll probably start out more military base like, and then work its way outward like a city. I wonder where we're going to build it. I mean, most obvious choice would be the Sea of Tranquility.
Bartimaeus, hey, RazörForce, hear me out. What if we do regime change in the Anglo-Saxon sphere? Green Berets, CIA, powder sugar money, the whole 9 yards, Latin America style. I'm not sure we're ready to throw off the yoke of that much Arab oppression. I'm not sure. They do have machetes. Since Americans are the first people on the moon, I look forward to the Canadian astronaut acknowledging that America is the rightful owner of the moon's land. Ah, there you are. There you are. I can't wait to hear how the Sioux and the Blackfoot Indians actually got there first somehow. We all know the Triceratons got there first. Come on.
Yes.
All your base are belong to us. Godspeed, sir. And glory to the Triceraton Empire.
About 10 people got that reference.
Dude, everyone knows Ninja Turtles. Stop it.
No, I mean the all your base.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that's an old internet meme, but everybody still knows it, please.
Okay, if you say.
What is the oldest internet meme that is still relevant? I would throw, we just had this a couple of weeks ago, Chuck Norris, obviously. The Chuck Norris fax was one of the few actually funny internet memes, which is why it still pops up again every now and then. It had some humorous merit to it. It wasn't just, hey guys, remember Thing? But what would you think? I mean, the first I remember is the baby dancing Ooga Chaga thing. That was the very first one.
Something that's still relevant today and that I've seen recently would be something like the troll face, which I still see everywhere. The Rick roll is an obvious one.
The soy jack.
Soy jack's kind of recent. I would say that's 2016, 2015.
Probably around, around there or whatever.
But like going way back in the day.
Demotivationals.
You don't see them much on it anymore. They evolved into the impact font.
They did.
Memes that you see everywhere now.
It's sad. I objectively liked demotivationals more than the impact font memes. Personally.
Yeah.
Often, especially when you get the wall of text, I feel like demotivationals prevented you from doing the lefty meme wall of text. Right? It had to be something pithy. It had to be something short because you only had so much room. But freaking the impact font memes, it's just, oh, hey, look, it's the Gutenberg Bible. Like, geez. Thanks for making my Battletech painting session entertaining. Godspeed. I do want to hit something real quick, if you guys will bear with me. Speaking of Battletech, I know not everybody is a Battletech fan, but I got this line dropped to me from Mage Leader, and this was rather interesting. There's been a little bit of news, not out of Catalyst Game Labs, the guys who own Battletech, but out of the guys who are handling the video games right now, Piranha Entertainment. And it's not sounding good.
Oh.
Not sounding good. We've, of course, streamed a number of those games, and I've been talking about how, man, we got to get Piranha off of this license. They're doing such a bad job. I stand by that. They're entertaining in the sense that it's Battletech. I'll take anything Battletech I can get. I remember all those decades where we had no Battletech product at all, and I missed it. But what's worse, no Battletech product or bad Battletech product? Freaking swing a dead cat. So No Guts, No Galaxy, shout out to him. By the way, you should subscribe to his Twitch. He streams Battletech games, Mech Warrior, the 2018 Battletech game, anything on Twitch all the time. I've been subscribed to him for years. He shot a message over to Russ Bullock, who's the head of Piranha Games, and said, is this true? Is Piranha moving away from the Mech Warrior franchise, or is this just an April Fool's joke gone too far? He's quoting a guy who said, Piranha Games just had a massive layoff of 60% of staff and are moving away from Mech Warrior, so you won't be getting a lot of new Mech Warrior games anymore. Russ Bullock replies to this. Not accurate. It was 30% of the staff, which was a horrible day, no doubt, but we do still continue to work on DLC.
DLC could just mean downgrading, winding down, sunsetting, if you will.
Yeah. How does that grab you, bro?
Good. Look, look, I'm sorry people are losing their jobs, but the games are bad. Like, we deserve real passionate BattleTech and MechWarrior games. We're getting slop.
There was a rumor, and I think it's an accurate one. Having played the last several DLCs on MechWarrior 5 Clans, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, the last several of those DLCs, it felt that they were written by ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It felt like some of the lore was written by AI. It felt you could see where AI had been used. And there were arguments from people. There were people who were claiming that that's what had happened, that they had actually used AI to write the game. Going back and playing those DLCs, I think that's accurate. I
think you even brought it up during the stream, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Is Xbox going away? I got a rant coming out about that. Actually, I already recorded it. I just haven't gotten it up. It's Holy Week. I've been very, very busy. I've been helping my church to stream stuff, so it's been a whole thing. Tomorrow's a really big one for Good Friday. So yeah, I haven't had as much time to work on that, but it has been a wonderful week despite that. So, but let me put that question to Taryn, because my rant's going to be coming out. You guys will find out what I think about that topic, but we won't hear from Taryn. So what do you think about the state of Xbox? They replaced the head of Xbox. Game Pass continues to be like this interesting idea that should work, but nobody really is using it. They're losing all their exclusives to Sony and Nintendo Sony and Steam. They never had exclusives from Steam. Where do you see Xbox going?
So it's pretty obvious that when AI broke out and it was the popular thing, and now there are RAM shortages and everything, the board over at Xbox went, we need a CEO who knows AI. And they bring in this lady. I don't even know her fucking name.
But it's something really long and rambling and Indian.
But it's pretty obvious that, one, they're late to the party. Two, they're going to try to capitalize on it. And three, it's going to fail them pretty hard. They're going to try to incorporate AI somehow into the Xbox or the next Xbox or whatever.
Yeah.
But I see the bubble popping with them pretty hard.
I just don't see how they. So they hired a woman who had been the former president of Tyson Chicken to be the head of Xbox. Samantha Bond. She just got fired. She looked like Ross's black girlfriend from Friends. What's her name? Aisha Tyler? She looked like her. The only thing she did the entire time was that goofy ad campaign. Hey, you see your phone? That's an Xbox. Hey, you see your curling iron? That's an Xbox. Hey, you see your toaster oven? That's an Xbox. That's her brainchild. That was the only thing she did the entire time she was an Xbox. And everyone's wondering why Xbox is in the state that it's in. Under her leadership, I remember Pete Hines. You know who he is from Bethesda, ZeniMax, whatever. He retired 2023 or so.
I remember that.
He came out and did an interview in early 2023. I'm going to talk about this a little bit, where he complained that Bethesda games were not Xbox exclusive enough. Normally a publisher's like, hey, let us be on any platform we want, whatever. But Pete Hines was complaining like, dude, you said we were going to be exclusive. And then you're like, go to Sony, go to Steam, go wherever you want. And he's like, do you have exclusives or not? What even is this? Like, and then he gets asked to quietly leave the building later on that. What the hell is going on at Xbox? What is even going on?
Are your games good enough to be exclusive? Jeez.
I know.
We didn't even talk about the PlayStation price hike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's up to 900 now.
Something like that for what a PlayStation 5 Pro Superior, whatever.
Deluxe EX Plus Alpha Edition. When will Moon leftist land acknowledgements start, right? Godspeed. I'm a firing my laser. Godspeed, sir. Moon base with no John Madden memes. Really? All right. Dude, still the best Mad TV skit is the John Madden popcorn popper. Did you ever see that? Frank Caliendo. Frank Caliendo does the best John Madden impression I've ever seen in my life. But he was brilliant in that.
The only thing I remember is your John Madden joke from your Steven Crowder interview.
What was that?
They were talking about the John Madden shooting, and you were like, "Yeah, John Madden shooting. We could only hope, right?" Or something like that. And then he died.
And then he dies. Whoops! Whoops! If you think that was spicy, look what I said about Rob Reiner. Trump is like All Might from My Hero Academia. Weeb. The symbol of peace, role-playing the villain, threats to NATO, Greenland, Hormuz, in order to train the young heroes, Deku and Bakugo, our Euro and Gulf allies, and make them stronger. Don't dislocate your shoulder on that analogy, dude. I don't know what that means. Do you? No. I know people who like My Hero Academia, but I don't know anything about it. I
do not watch this popular shit. Like, people keep bringing up that, and what's the other one? Jujutsu Kaisen or something. People swear by it.
I know several people who are addicted to that show. It sounds good. I haven't watched it though. I've been too busy watching terrible stuff like Daredevil Born Again, which, by the way, the new episode came out.
Did you watch it without me again?
Nope.
Okay.
I haven't. I was, man, I had recorded the whole freaking thing, and then the new episode came out, and I was like, crap! Now I gotta add the new one to it. So
right.
Like I said, busy week. Hail Razorfist, 2 questions not related to Iran. Any chance of you doing a review video of the new Solomon Kane book? Yes. 2, this didn't make it on FNT before the end. Who do you think would make the perfect live action Shadow?
I've had that question a couple of times.
Yeah, I've got kind of a list of guys. So you kind of want a really, really good, like a guy who could be a really good villain actor, maybe a little nebulously British, or can do a transatlantic accent, which is transatlantic accent is just like an Americanized British accent, essentially, like Orson Welles. So you need that. Tall, lean, high forehead, big nose. So me, no. No. Tom Hiddleston was the guy that I would pick because he's known, he's famous, he's been a leading man. He's not ugly, he's like a handsome guy, but he has those waspy kind of features or whatever. It'd be totally work, in my opinion.
And he's just old enough.
He is, yeah. You don't want a young man. You want somebody in his 40s, maybe even his early 50s. You want a man with gravitas. So like a John Hamm, Tom Hiddleston, like that kind of genre of actor would be my choice. What about you?
Personally, I wouldn't even know. Tom Hiddleston, it's...
another one that I always picked. He's not very famous, though. But if you could put some bigger actors in there with him, it might help him, is Tobias Menzies from Rome and what's that show that Ira Steven bared? Outlander.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Great freaking actor, and he looks the part and has that accent going on, and he's got a huge nose and a huge forehead, and perfect. Absolutely perfect. He'd be a brilliant Lamont Cranston. All right, let's see here. Buzz Aldrin was a Presbyterian. Thank you very much. In other news, Kristi Noem will be stepping down from her position to spend more time motorboating her husband. When asked for comment, she declined, stating only, "My mouth is full." What is going on? Did you hear that story, dude?
No, I'm not sure I want to.
Oh, chat. Are we going to get to break the news to Taryn Gell live on air?
Oh, God, what?
Taryn?
What?
Look up Kristi Noem's husband.
Oh, that. No, yeah. No, yeah, I saw the pictures. Are they? We're sure. We're absolutely certain that's not AI.
Yes. Yeah. Nope. He's apparently been J. Edgar Hoovering on his spare time. It was odd. Her husband asked Christy Noem for doggy style, and she just started making a marinade for some reason. Very odd. All right. Artemis 3, test lander. Artemis 4, feet on the moon. Boots on the ground, you mean? Betrayal! Trump has betrayed us again. Boots on the ground on the moon. I have demotivational posters in my home gym. They give me a chuckle every time. Thanks for the stream. Godspeed, Jeff. Thank you for joining us. Our guest, of course, will be joining very, very shortly. They said they were going to join, like 9-ish our time, something like that. They've been very busy, by the way. Our guest, congratulations to her, has been on Fox News this last week. She was invited to CPAC, where Reza Pahlavi was giving a speech, a freaking awesome speech. It was the best thing about CPAC. And has been on a bunch of media making the rounds and whatever. I love to see when that happens, especially for someone who actually knows what's going on in Iran a little bit. There's so many people just spouting off at the mouth. Like, I love Victor Davis Hanson, but he's giving his above ground geopolitical analysis. There's a value to that. Don't get me wrong. And I've tried to do the same thing, but how about hearing from people who know what Iran is actually like? How about we actually do that, please? What a time to be alive, watching Razor and Terran while spray painting Jir from Invader Zim on a wall in VR. What? Welcome to 2026, y'all.
I completely missed the whole Invader Zim thing.
It's way after our time. Way after our time. Our time was like Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
And Ninja Turtles. And like that was our time. My back hurts, by the way. All right. Oops, I already answered that. I'm currently in my second day of a wicked case of laryngitis. It's killing me, not killing me as bad as the U.S. military is killing despots. But still, shall we look at that chart, by the way? Do you have that?
Oh, chart?
We'll bring it up again. I shot it to you in Discord. I shot a link to you in Discord.
Oh, in the Discord.
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. Oh, yes. Oh, here, hold on. Let me actually save it.
Yeah.
And then bring it up in a separate window.
Trump needs to give Netanyahu more of the Zelensky treatment. This is one thing that maddens me a little bit about the Spurg right. When Trump talks shit about Ben Netanyahu, which is not infrequently, right? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. That was about Benjamin Netanyahu, guys, not just Iran. It was also about Netanyahu. For some reason, they're completely unfazed. They just pretend it didn't happen. He has criticized Israel a lot. All right. Is Carrie Lake what she claims to be? Been a while since I was in AZ. When I was there, she was just the news lady. That's actually, you know what? That gives me an excuse to show a little clip here. If you'll bear with me, Carrie Lake was still a news person when we learned that she was based. Do you remember that, Taryn?
No, I'm eager to be reminded.
Yeah. She was, let me see if she's there. Here we go. So out here in Arizona, we have a newspaper, just an absolute rag, that is called the Phoenix New Times. And I've talked about them before. Their founder was busted for human trafficking. They're just odious communistic nonsense. They're absolutely terrible. But this was before she ran for governor. This was before she was even a politician. She was still a journalist on Fox 10 News. And she's there with, I think it's John Hook. Yeah, it was Hook and Lake was the big broadcasting team. And I talked about this in my initial video about Carrie Lake. I did a rant about it and whatever, and I showed this footage. So I apologize for the audio quality, but there are subtitles. So this was the first we learned of Carrie Lake's political inclinations.
They just think it's been branded as a far-right kind of place. So they don't want you tied into anything like that where you're going to get blowback from the New Times or whoever it is.
1-year-old dope. It's a rag for selling marijuana.
I know, but then they're in a position where they got to explain it or you've got to explain it.
I'm reaching people.
Thanks for watching.
So was he like warning her not to be too far right with the people they were about to interview?
He was yes, he was warning her of being openly political on social media, making statements about various political issues and whatever. And she said, he said, then the New Times is going to run with that and whatever. And she said, fuck them. They're 20-year-old dopes. It's a stupid rag to sell marijuana and traffic kids or whatever she said. It's true, though.
Damn.
Their founder was arrested. And actually,
she should be governor right now. Damn it.
She was rightly elected governor. We now basically have dual confirmation. There was 400 something ballots that were incorrectly processed. We now know. We know that in Maricopa County, this is a result of the audit in 2021. I did a video about this and I re-uploaded it recently to my Rumble. So go check that out. But the results of that audit found that over 50,000 ballots were incorrectly registered. Of course, the margin of victory for Biden and what happened, or no, actually, yeah, that was just for the Biden election in 2020. The margin of victory was like 5 times, basically, or the margin of error, rather, was 5 times Biden's margin of victory. Now look at Carrie Lake. She lost by 0.3%. 0.3%. So if you extrapolate that margin of error to the 2022 election with her as governor, you can see why the Arizona Supreme Court basically admitted in court there was enough fraud to overturn the result of that election. And she's essentially the rightfully elected governor of Arizona, but there's no redress because she wasn't able to prove that Katie Hobbs did it on purpose. Katie Hobbs, the current governor, was overseeing that election because she was Secretary of State at the time. All right. Did you see the Mario Galaxy X NASA video from the White House? Yes.
Yes.
Did you see this? This is the progress report on. By the way, this is Iran winning the war, according to Dave Smith. This is
the start
this
at
is
the
what
top.
Iran winning the war looks like.
So, let's see.
Yeah. By the way, the thing that infuriates me about this is how many left. Well, that too. How many non-Iranian names are in here? It's always infuriating. Oh my gosh, I didn't send her the link. I'm sorry, guys.
Has she been waiting?
She has. I'm so sorry. Guys, I'm retarded. She could have been in here. She just shot me a message. Hey, I didn't get a link. I'm like, oh, God dang it. But yeah, this is what our leadership is looking like right now. This is what the victorious Iranian regime that's totally winning the war. This is what it looks like. And without further ado, we're gonna bring in our guest, actually. And
great time to bring her in.
Again, with apologies for mispronouncing Iranian names. It's been many years since I've had to regularly pronounce them. Mun Rahimi, I think, is here. And welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're just taking a look at the progress report on how many people have been glassed in the Iranian regime right now. That's a whole lot of red skulls. That's a lot of dead people.
Yeah. I love this picture. Like every time like one of them get eliminated, I'll be like, yes, let's go.
The thing that infuriates me about this is when you zoom in and you look at the names, how many of the surnames and middle names and so on are not Iranian. That infuriates me about the Iranian regime. People do not understand the extent to which this is an occupied country, but you are the person who knows all about this. I know a little bit, just for background, a little bit. I dated an Iranian woman for several years, nice. Knew them. Knew how hard it was. I mean, you got out, and that's not easy to do. So, you're Iranian. We know you're Iranian because you're really tall. My ex-girlfriend was from Shiraz. I think we were the exact same height.
Oh, how do you know that I'm tall?
Yeah, I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures of you next to people. They stack them tall in Persia gang. But where are you from? What was your background? What is your past in Iran?
Okay, so I born and raised in Iran, and 2 years ago I moved to US to just continue my education in a better country because I saw myself nothing in future when I was in Iran.
Yeah.
Because of all those things that I saw, I was thinking that if I want to continue my education, there is no future for me in this country. The system is corrupted. There is no opportunity for me, and on the way of like continuing my education in that country, I might not even ended up getting my degrees because of all these things that was happening. Like even I was in Iran before 2 years ago, there were a lot of protests. I was uh, I was witnessing my friends getting arrested by the Islamic regime. I was witness that one of my friend that I knew her, um, she got arrested by Islamic regime in one of those protests, um, and they raped her in the jail. And after she released off the jails, she wasn't the same person. Like she attempted to do suicide, I think 2 or 3 times. And this was a life that that I had in Iran. So I was thinking that I should move out of this country to continue my education because there was like no hope for me there. And right now, this is actually the first time for my entire life that I have hope, and it's all because of President Donald Trump, that he's doing the work for us because we cannot do anything. Like we were in the street with bare hands. They were like machine guns, and in January 8th and 9th, they were machine guns. They were snipers. They used chemical weapons against the innocent people with bare hands, and they killed more than 50,000 people in just 2 days. Like the biggest massacre that I was like seen in my entire life. This was the most crazy thing that I ever seen. That I every time like invest, especially in media and lefties, they trying to like ignore these facts, and they like just focus on a breach. Like today, two things happened in Iran. A bridge got bombed, and an 18 years old kid got executed by Islamic regime. And
I saw you post about that.
yeah, and which one do you think lefties are focusing on right now?
Right. Exactly. And then this has happened before. I mean, gosh, I don't know how old you were during the Arab Spring stuff, but this happened then too. The mass hangings afterward and rounding people up and all of that stuff. So this is something that happens anytime the people speak up, which is why, man, there was a little bit of apprehension when people were first starting to protest because people were not sure, like, okay, what's going to happen, right? It's understandable. I remember, I don't know if you recall this, but after the Arab Spring protests, I think Ahmadinejad was in power then.
Yes.
In power, right? He's not really in power, but
they're just puppets, yeah.
Right. And he was claiming, we're broke. We don't have, this is why there's rolling blackouts, because they have blackouts all the time in Iran, as you know. We can't, we're broke. We don't have any money. It's because of the great Satan. It's because of America. Then the demonstrations happened. And wouldn't you know, the police show up with brand new motorcycles. No, they've got the brand new motorcycles. They had money for that. They were fine with that. And trampling protesters and all kinds of stuff. So this is something that has happened many, many, many times. So you managed, that doesn't surprise me that it was education. So you managed, I assume, to get some kind of scholarship or something and get the heck out of there. That's the same thing that my ex-girlfriend did. She had to, I don't think people appreciate, maybe you could speak to this, how separated Iranian families get when they leave, because you kind of have to take what you can get, right? Like they had siblings, right? And their sibling went off to Australia to get a PhD, and they had to go off to Sweden for a while and then to America, and the whole family gets split up. The parents, I won't say who they are, but they're prominent, and one's prominent in kind of a governmental capacity and the other's prominent in academia. They couldn't really leave in Iran, and they weren't allowed, and they weren't going to be allowed. So their parents just saved up a lot of money to try and get them out. Was that kind of a similar situation where it was just like, because it's not easy to get out of the country, you sort of had to take what you could get in the moment?
No, it's not easy at all. Beside all those things that you just said, the process of getting visa as an Iranian person is like really, really challenging and difficult, because we don't have like a U.S. embassy inside Iran. Like we, as a student, we have to like go to another country that has a U.S. embassy in, and then apply, like go to the embassy and do the interviews. Like there is a very high pressure interview in those embassies. Like the moment that they know that you're Iranian, like all those limitations, all those things gonna just like go develop for Iranians, because of all those sanctions, because of all those things that corrupted governments doing all the time. So they have to like be very, very careful, the U.S. embassy, to like which one of these people they are giving visa to. So there are a lot of restriction. There's a lot of like process, like extra process for Iranians to do, and there are very limited like people that actually ended up getting the visa, so they can enter the country of USA, and then actually like do like even their student like continue their education or other kind of visa that they're applying for. But yeah, there's a lot of things to do, and the money part is actually, that's true. Some of the students, they get in like scholarships or this kind of stuff, that like just the beginning of their after immigration they need money, but some of them, they don't have like a scholarship or enough money, so they have to like have this financial support from their family all the time. And right now, I mean, I'm a PhD student, I have my scholarship, but I'm really worried about those students that they always are getting financial support from their family, and right now even the internet is shut down. Like they cannot talk to their family. Like the whole country does not have access to the internet, like for over a month now. Like we're living in 2026, like robots are walking out there, and AI is like taking our jobs, but we cannot provide internet for a nation. I cannot accept that.
Yeah, internet's heavily censored. Shoot, I think Taryn, my broadcast, but I think he had a question about that, actually, about the internet.
I just wanted to know, since the internet was cut off in Iran, is it possible at all for people to get messages out? How is information getting out of Iran?
So first of all, let me explain this to you, that this is a thing that Islamic regime doing all the time when there is a protest of something happening. So they cut off the internet for the whole nation, and they give internet to like very few people, like of their own people, like regime people, so they can actually get access to the internet and to the whole world, and spread the propaganda of the regime. So they do this to like kind of like control and change the narrative that goes to the West and to the media. But meanwhile, right now, there are like a few people that they have like a Starlink and in Iran. And by the way, just to say that having a Starlink inside of Iran is actually illegal. And if Islamic regime finds out that you have a Starlink, they're going to arrest you and they're going to kill you. So they have a Starlink. They're connected to like very like safe people outside of Iran. Like they don't publish or they don't post pictures or videos themselves, because once they do, like government gonna like recognize those people, and then gonna look for those people inside Iran. So they send those files to like safe people that they have outside of Iran, and they're gonna post it instantly.
I see.
I mean, the extent to which the authoritarianism, I actually wanted to ask you about that. My understanding is that like a lot of Iranian girls, you referenced one girl who was detained and then assaulted or whatever, but like that would be on the behalf of what are ironically called the morality police, which are not, I mean, this is what we would understand as morality police, but it sounds like some school marm, you know, with a yardstick or something. Oh, your skirt's a little bit too short. It's not like that. It's not. The real horror begins once you're in custody. can you explain to people what the morality police in Iran actually are, so that they understand what has actually been institutionalized in that country? Because I've heard no shortage of stories, but I'd like to hear it from someone who actually was inside, 2 years ago or less.
Yeah, so there are morality police in Iran everywhere, and if women do not dress, like do not cover themselves fully, not just like a little bit, fully, they're gonna arrest those women. And 4 years ago, there were I don't know if you heard of him, Mahsa Amini, the Women Life Freedom Revolution. She just had like some bangs, like just this much of hair, just this much.
Yep.
Outside of like that thing, like a scarf thing that she was wearing, and the morality police took her, arrested her, and on the way to like bringing her to those organization and to the like custody and things, she was like refusing. She was just like refusing to like get into the like those cars and those organization, and they beat him up so bad that he ended up like in a hospital, and then she ended up in the hospital, and then she passed away.
Right.
Just because of a few bangs.
Yeah.
She passed.
That and even worse has happened. And the awful part is, my understanding anyways, correct me if I'm wrong, is it's very much at the officer's discretion, right? So they've got hijab on or whatever, and it's up to them. Oh, is there a little too much hair there? Is there a little too much hair visible? Oh, can I see a little too much of the top of your ankle or whatever, right? Exactly. It's very much up to them, and they arbitrarily enforce that. And there have absolutely been cases of morality police who are essentially trolling for women, and they're like, oh, you've got a violation, come into private with me, into custody. And then the horrors that happen there while they're there are only sometimes spoken of. It's pretty much institutionalized. And if you think the officers get reprimanded or lose their job, let alone imprisoned, you're kidding yourself.
No. So I had an experience. I wanted to tell you this. So when I was in Iran, the morality police actually arrested me 3 times. And I just wanted to like tell you that what's happening inside of those organizations in the custody. So once they get you to their vans, they just trying to like spread horrors between those women that they arrested. They just like constantly threaten them to like, oh, okay, we're gonna put you in a jail. You have no future. You have nothing else. Just because they're showing bands, just because they show a little bit of the skin of their ankles or whatever. So once they bring those women into their organization, those places, they took our phone. Like I remember they took my phone and they keep it for themselves, and they said you cannot have your phone inside, just because so that the women do not like film or record inside of their behavior, of the things that they say, or to like the environment inside. So they're gonna take your phone away, and they're not gonna give your phone back. And they trying to like, because I remember I entered to that place, there were a lot of women crying so hard, like they were just begging to those people to just let them go. And that was crazy, because I remember I think I was the first time I was 18 or 19, and I entered to that place, and I was like, oh my God, they doing this to women just because they showing a little bit of skin.
Right. And we're talking like, I remember my ex-girlfriend got hassled. She didn't get taken in, thank God.
Oh.
But she got hassled once because her headscarf was just a little bit too far back.
Yes.
That was it. And they terrified her. She came home crying, and she was having a panic attack, and it was because she knows what happens to women when they're behind closed doors and in some of those detention facilities or what have you.
Yes, if the women refuse to get inside to those places, they're gonna beat those women, and they don't have any mercy. Like they put like they beat their head, they beat their body, like in a way that they're attempting to kill them, not just beating them, just like very nice. No, they attempt to kill them by beating them, and they I mean, I remember I had a little bit of my ankles, like skin of my ankles showing up. So they doing this. I didn't refuse to get in. I was like, okay, I'm getting, just like, don't touch me. I get into those places. They took my phone away and they took a picture of me, like I'm some sort of criminal, and they insulted me so much. Like, I was crying at the end. I was like crying silence at the corner of that place, just letting me go. I called my they say that you can call your parents to come here and then do this and do that. So I called my parents with their phone, and I was like trying to like bring my parents there so that they can like put something like a bail or something, so that they would allow me to get out.
Right.
But I was like seeing so many women crying, so many women gotten beaten by those morality police. I've seen so many insults, so many threats, so many behavior of why they're so. I just don't understand why those people, they don't understand that, okay, this woman, maybe we should just be nice. Okay, if you're a morality, please be nice about it. But they're not human beings. That's what I want to tell you.
There's a phrase here in America: the one true dictatorship in America is a cop out on his beat. That's kind of a joke that we all say. That's very much true in Iran. These guys have a ton of autonomy. No one's really looking over their shoulder. Morality police is really heavy on the police and non-existent on the morality is really what's going on there. And the number of people who have been assaulted in private custody or even turned up dead, you just kind of brush it under the rug afterward, especially if you express any kind of, like, if they find out in any way that you're against the regime or even slightly critical of the regime, or which actually that's a question that I would throw out to you without throwing anyone under the bus or putting anyone in danger. Was your family, were you generally kind of aware and anti-regime before you left, and how much of a problem was that for you? Because I remember my girlfriend's family, super anti-regime, but they had to hide it. They had to 100% hide it all the time and fall in line. So because it can cause serious problems for you.
Yeah. So I don't want to like share any details of this.
I completely understand.
Yeah, you know about it. Because they already put my picture in their punishment committee. The Islamic regime put my picture in their punishment committee, and then trying to like threaten me. So I just prefer to not share any detail about those
totally
that I have. But I can talk about myself, and I can talk about my sister, that both of us live here in USA. So both of us are super anti-regime, and both of us are so. I'm super monarchist, and she's also wants Princess of Pahlavi as a leader for Iran. So this is a thing that I want to share. But from my observation, I would say 90% of Iranian people inside of Iran, they want this regime to go away and have the Princess of Pahlavi as their leader. Because I don't know if you saw those pictures. First of all, having the picture of Princess of Pahlavi or the previous shahs, previous kings in Iran is illegal by the government, by the Islamic regime. And if they catch you, if they arrest you with those pictures, they're gonna kill you. They're gonna execute those people that have like a picture. But knowing this fact, people came to the street protesting, bringing Princess of Pahlavi picture, just to show the world what they want. And they know that if government arrests them, they're gonna end up at jail, and then they're gonna end up executed by the Islamic regime. But with knowing this fact, they bring in Princess of Pahlavi picture to the street, and this is just fascinating. This is great to see that how the people of Iran right now, and it's just because they're so done with this government. We're so fed up. We're so done with this government, that people knowing that they might not able to come back home alive, but they go to the street, they go to protest and bring in Princess of Pahlavi picture to the street just to show the world what they want.
Yeah, I want to touch on that because there's a lot of, we've heard a lot of counter signaling, which I suspect a lot of it is actually funded by the Iranian regime, a lot of propaganda. Reza Pahlavi has no support and whatever. And that blows my mind because I remember, so I dated the Iranian woman in like 2010, 11, 12, around there. That was many years ago. And even then, she was already the nostalgia movement in Iran for Pahlavi's Iran, the late 70s and whatever. There's videos. Go on YouTube right now. You can see Pahlavi's Iran. There's videos all over the place. The nostalgia movement within Iran for the Shah is very, very real. Very, very, very real. So I guess I would ask, do you have a preference, and what do you think the government would take? I mean, accepting that you probably don't consider yourself an expert on it or anything, but do you have a preference for what form the government would take afterward? Like more of a parliamentary or democratic UK style monarchy with the king sort of there as a spiritual figure, or a full on like return of the Shah and reascent to the throne? Because I know there are varying opinions all around Iran about this.
Well, yeah, as you just said, I'm not really expert on this. The only thing that I'm sure of that we all are agreed on, that the Princess of Pahlavi should be our leader. And he's always emphasizing that he wants to be the transitional leader until that there is like a referendum for all the people. And he's always saying that he wants to do a secular democrat, like a government for the Iran. And I actually honor and I agree with whatever he wants to he actually says about Iran in future, because I completely trust him as a person who grew up to be like this, who grew up to be the leader of Iran. So I completely trust him, and I know that he's going to do whatever is the best for Iran, as he's the most patriot, like a person in that I saw in my entire life. After all those things that happened, after that, his dad, Mohammad Reza Shah, King Mohammad Reza, passed away. After all those things happened, he is still the most patriot person in the world. He's so passionate about Iran, and he wants to build this country up. He wants to make this country great again as it was. So I completely trust him. I actually had this great opportunity to visit and see him in person, and he actually did shake my hand in a way.
I was going to mention this. You just got to attend CPAC and see him speak, which I thought his speech was a banger. It was freaking great. He did a great job.
It was the mind blowing, like the goosebumps that I was getting during the speech. Oh my God! Even thinking about it, the things that he said, the peak moment of the speech was when he said, imagine Iran turned from death to America to God bless America. Oh my God, the audience blow up. And I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest moment of this conference.
That's great.
So
you got to shake his hand and everything.
Yes, he actually did. And when he did that, this person is so genuine. This person is so, like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm so speechless when I want to like describe the feeling and the emotion that I had in that moment. Only thing that I can say, that he is truly the only person that can be the leader of Iran. That's it. And there's absolutely no one else. He's so genuine. He cares about single person in Iran. Like, He knew that my cousin died because of the Islamic regime. He came to me and he said, I'm so sorry for your cousin," without me mentioning about that, like without having me mentioning that my cousin died. Like he just came to me and said, "I'm so sorry about your cousin." Like he know it. He cares about every single person, every single Iranian, and this is the thing that we want, and this is the thing that we didn't have it. I didn't experience it. Like as a person who born into that government, I never experienced to have like such a person in for my country that actually cares about country, actually cares about the people of Iran, and I never felt like this.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest, that was the greatest experience I would say in my life.
That's great to hear.
Thank you.
So yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. The Shah, I mean, I know the nostalgia movement for the Shah was its own thing, but I think people underestimate the extent to which the Iranian people identify. I mean, people think this was a regime that was installed by the US and all of this. They don't understand that this is a throne that precedes Islam's arrival in Iran. This is something from the Achaemenid period. You know, this is something that calls back to the pre-Islamic past of Iran, which is one of the reasons the US supported it to begin with. Mm-hmm. There are lies that are told that we continue to hear this counter signaling about, oh, the US interfered in the 1950s, it interfered in the 1970s. They tend to conveniently omit that this was in response to the Soviet Union, Turkey, Syria, other outside entities, even France interfering in Iran and sort of trying to prop up a socialist version of their own kind of dictatorship that they wanted. And then the US was forced to intercede, right? So I think people, I'll say this too. Many people have asked, well, rather, there's kind of a narrative from some of the room temperature IQs that this is a war for Israel, despite the core condition that led to it preceding the existence of the Israeli state at all. And yet in every conversation I ever had with an Iranian about their authoritarian occupied Arab government, the word Israel never came up a single time, not even once, not against, not for, nothing. It has nothing to do with Israel at all. So I have to ask you, someone who lived there 2 years ago, was Israel even a factor in here, except for maybe helping us to change the condition? Or was there even a consideration of how this would benefit Israel? Or is this really just about, hey, we deserve to have the Shah back in power?
Well, first of all, let me say that this war is not about Israel. And I'm really tired of all these lefties that in the West trying to like say that this is because every time, like, we have a famous sentence: no news, no Jews, no Jews, no news. So they're so obsessed with Jewish people. They're so obsessed with Israel that whatever Israel is involved in anything, even a little bit, they just like trying to make all this stuff about this country and Jewish people. And I'm really tired of hearing this, because I just don't understand that why these people do not have the ability to think critically, to like, okay, maybe I live inside of some propaganda and I need to like hear some of out of my sources. There's a bunch of people that their source of information are TikTok videos.
Yep.
They don't think. They don't research. They don't have the ability to even research.
Yeah.
And
it's wild. We'll actually hear from people as a result of this video going up, I'm sure, that, oh, this person doesn't know what they're talking about, or Razor doesn't know what he's talking, even though both of us have experience with Iran, with Iranians, having an actual history with all of that. Oh, but Ian Carroll, the DoorDash driver, he's an expert on Iran, or Candace Owens, or whoever, like these people who have no history at all and no conception of the history of the region at all, or the culture. The fact that this is calling Iran, you could really correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I've always struggled to describe the culture of Iran. It's not westernized. You're just Iranian. right? You're just not compatible. You are compatible with the West culturally because you're the only culture of your kind in that region, an old and ancient culture that preceded the arrival of Islam and really stands apart from it. And you people are proud of that, is my understanding of that. I don't know if you could speak to that a little bit.
Well, I would say I'm very compatible with the West, especially that I had the experience living under Islamic regime, being forced to be Muslim, being forced to like do all those stuff, being forced to study things that they want me to do. And after that all happened, I was so done with those stuff that when I came to West, I was saying, okay, I want to raise awareness about this religion, what they are able to do to a society. Like you seen it, like the greatest country, I would say, in Middle East, Iran. This religion came to this country and destroyed this country in 47 years. And we all can see it, like everything, the economy, even the environment. This religion is so destructive that that great country took like 47 years to like become this ruined and destroyed country. And one thing that I actually feel that I need to do, like as my duty to all these people, because I came to the USA and I love this country so much. Like this country giving me so much opportunity, so much freedom that I always wanted to. And I'm so grateful, and I'm really appreciate this opportunity and freedom, that I feel that this is my duty to go out there and raise awareness about all those things that the West media, the left is trying to cover up, trying to say, okay, Islam is a religion of peace. This is not. Islam is not religion of peace. This is the opposite of that. And they're trying to like make this religion so like pretty, beautiful for the people, just to manipulate them. Just the same thing 47 years ago, mullahs, those ayatollah that came to the country, they were doing this. The same thing. Like they came to the country, they said, we're going to make this free. We're going to make the bill, like a water bill, the electricity bill, free for everyone, for the whole country. We have like so many resources. We have oil. And with that, we make all those things free for the people of Iran. And guess what? They didn't. They get those oil monies, turn it to the missiles, turn it to the
Hezbollah.
Hezbollah, exactly. Turn it, all those missiles that they built, all those missiles that they gave to the Hamas. Like this regime is actually the biggest terrorist funder in the world. Like all terrorists in the regime getting funded by this regime.
It was an open secret in Iraq, of course. I knew several people who were dispatched to Fallujah and Afghanistan and whatever, and they were all, oh, it's an open secret. We're fighting Iraqis, but they're using Iranian weapons. You know what I mean? Like they
were even sending missiles and military like equipment to the Russia.
Right.
And for the war between Ukraine and Russia. So we all know that if this regime goes away, the whole world is going to be a safer place for everybody. Like all those war in the Middle East, from Russia to Ukraine, I don't know, Hamas, other terrorists that are getting funded by Islamic regime, they all will go away because there absolutely no money left for them, because they just like give this oil money. So why do you think all those people inside Iran are desperately poor and the economy is so bad? Like the average income in Iran right now is less than $200 per month.
Burma. It's lunacy how devalued the currency is.
And this country is the richest country in terms of oil and this kind of stuff. And this does not make sense for the people of this country to be this poor, but having this much of resources, oils everything, gas everything.
Yeah,
So,
and no basic stuff. Like we talked about the blackouts that are constant,
yes.
and Tehran has a little bit. I don't know where you were at in Iran, but Tehran doesn't have quite as many blackouts. But you have so my ex-girlfriend they were in Shiraz, which is a little small. It's like maybe the third biggest, but it's big-ish.
Yeah.
They had freaking blackouts all the time. I remember they were celebrating Nowruz, which I just passed, actually, by the way, congratulations or whatever. But they were celebrating that, and right in the middle of it, lights go out. Like, it's just in the middle, just a normal thing that happens all the time.
Yes.
They can't even keep the lights on and whatever. And actually, shoot, we just got a speech from Trump yesterday on the subject of Iran. I don't know if Taryn, could you bring that up and maybe we could have our guest react to it, tell us
Sure.
our thoughts or whatever. And,
It's just a short little clip here.
Yeah, just a brief one.
Discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. Discussions are ongoing.
Okay. So we could probably bring that graphic back up to show what he was talking about there as far as how many people have been glassed. But
I have to bring that back up.
To get an idea of just how much of the upper leadership has been killed, most of whom were killed in the opening stages of the conflict, though it does seem like every other day some new guy gets killed. I saw just the other day, I don't know what we want to call him. It's not Baghdad Bob, maybe Tehran Ted, the propaganda guy who claimed you're going to see crazy weapons you've never seen any day now or what. He's dead. He's dead already.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
But this is the chart, folks, and that's a lot of red skulls. That's like me playing Hunt Showdown. That's rough. That's a lot of dead people, folks.
Especially within the IRGC,
which is essentially gone. Did you see Hexeth's quote about we're going to share the strait with the Iranian Navy? They can take the bottom, we'll take the top.
Oh, that's so funny.
Which I love. So I guess if I would throw you an acknowledging that you don't consider yourself an expert, I consider you an informed expert on life in Iran for sure, because you actually had to live it, which is more than I can say for most of the podcasters who are advancing the silly Jews run the world narrative. But what are your words of caution to the U.S. as we do this? Is there anything that you would warn against leaving anyone in the Iranian regime alive, leaving the regime intact? Is there anything you want to caution that if you could say anything to the Trump administration right now, like, please do this, please do that, what would it be? Is there anything?
Well, the only thing that I can say right now is, okay, if there is going to be a regime change for Iran, it should be a complete regime change. Like, we do not want those regime people to get replaced by each other, because they're the same people. They have like the same corrupted ideology in themselves. So they're going to do the same thing. Like today that they executed that 18 years old kid, even though that people saying the regime changed, it's not changing. Like, this is the same regime. Like, if the regime killing a 18 years old kid, this is the same regime that it was. So there is no regime change yet. When it's going to happen, when the regime is going to change, that Princess of Pahlavi can actually return to the country and be the leader, because he's the only person that is not connected to the Islamic regime. Other people, they're somehow connected. They have like this corrupted ideology. They have this like religion thing that they wanted to like continue to their country. So we're done. We're done with the religion. We do not want this. Like, you go to the street, if you see any like Persian people, any Iranian people in the street, if you ask them if you're Muslim, they will say, I'm not Muslim, I'm Persian. And we do not want this religion in our country. Like, they just like took over, these Islamists took over our country, and we want every single of them to get out, to be done. We don't want them. That's it. So the regime change would only happen if Princess of Pahlavi came back to the country and be the leader. That's the only way that we can say the regime changed.
And this is a benefit too. You're hearing a lot of, oh, it's Iraq War 2.0 and blah, blah, which I've tried to point out a million times. Iran is the opposite of Iraq. It's the complete opposite.
Yeah, that's completely opposite. I just don't. The other thing that these lefties keep saying and just making me super angry is that it's going to happen the same thing that happened to the Iraq or Afghanistan or whatever and blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is not a two same situation.
No.
Same thing that the Afghanistan happened was that so the power vacuum happened after all those things, like after that those people got killed and whatever. The power vacuum made that country to be like this. For us, there is not going to be power vacuum because we already have the greatest leader. We know Princess of Pahlavi. We know who was his dad.
And this is a benefit that Iran has that Iraq did not. Exactly.
That's not going to be the same thing at all. Yeah. So we just want every single of those Islamis out of the country, all those people that actually are not Iranian out of country. We want a person who is purely Iranian, who purely cares about the country and the people of Iran and actually can have a very great and a strong connection and relationship with other countries. Like we already, if you watch the Princess of Pahlavi speeches, he always emphasized that we will have a great relationship with USA and Israel. Like Israel, Iran, and USA will be the three best countries, like besties for the future if we have Princess of Pahlavi as our leader. So this is a thing that we want to happen because we always, like right now, if you see the Israeli people when they're in shelter, they're celebrating for Iranian people because the night that the main guy Ayatollah Khamenei actually got eliminated by President Donald Trump, they were Israeli people in the shelter while the Islamic regime was bombing civilians inside Israel. They were in shelter and dancing for the Iranian people. They were so happy for us, as we Iranian are so happy for them because we always cheer each other up because there is always a connection between Iranian people and Israeli people. So we want our government to be the same. We want our government to be connected to the Israel, be connected to the USA as a really great relationship, as an ally, like the greatest allies.
It's compatible. Like this is what I was trying to say. It's you're not westernized, but you're compatible in that way. You have similar goals and similar values as a culture, but you've also got your distinctly Iranian identity, which I love, and it's an incredibly ancient civilization. Your food is freaking amazing, by the way. Like for all of it. So anyway, I don't know how long you can stay or whatever. I don't want to keep you any longer than you can stay or whatever. But if you're willing to maybe take a few questions from the audience, that'd be pretty cool. If you're down.
Yeah, I think I can have another 5 to 10 minutes.
Cool. Yeah, totally understand. It's real late, so I totally understand. All right, let's see here. Salute Belvien says he salutes your bravery. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Godspeed, ladies and gentlemen. I actually do have a question before I let you go.
Sure.
Just a total hypothetical. In a free Iran, whether you want to stay in the U.S. or go back to Iran or whatever, but what is the first thing you would do in a free Iran when you got there? If it was completely free and you could do whatever.
That's a very good question. Yeah. I actually never thought of it. I always thought that if Iran gets free, all of us, like all of my friends, gonna get back and have like the biggest celebration in history, like inside Tehran, Iran. And that was the only thing that I was thinking of. But Maybe yes. Maybe just the biggest celebration. Maybe we just celebrate 7 days constantly. Like you see those like Burning Man like has a 7 days constant like raves. We have like 7 days celebration of our Shah Princess of Pahlavi coming back to the country. Maybe we do that.
Yeah. Well, that's a great answer. It's a great answer. I would say, man, I would assume like swimming or something. Like, you know what I mean? Because gosh, there's so many photos of like
part of it. That's gonna be part of it.
Right.
All the things that you think of, that's gonna be part of those celebrations. So we're gonna
Jeez.
party so hard for the 7 days.
Iran had some of those beautiful resorts and stuff before
Yeah.
the freaking revolution and everything. Just unbelievable. They rivaled anything you see in Las Vegas or whatever. And it would be awesome to see some of that stuff come back.
Tourism was very high in the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
Tourism. There was a great deal of tourism.
Yes. The tourism was crazy awesome back in.
Big Movies and Games says, a woman on the show. What the hell is going on here?
There was no woman before?
I don't think so, unless you count me. Yes. Let's see here. Make Iran woman U.S. citizens. Send them here, please. Godspeed. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see here. Let's see if we have any others for you. Oh, this actually is an interesting question because this has become a debate. Should it be called Iran or Persia? I say Persia as kind of a clean break. I personally say Iran because it's the older name. I don't think the name Iran is the problem. It's the regime that's the problem. But,
so as I just say, when someone say Persian versus when they say Iranian, so Persian is kind of like an ethnicity,
right?
But Iran is a country. So all those people that speaks Farsi, they call themselves Persian. They can call themselves Persian. But only people that live inside Iran, they can call themselves Iranian. So this is like a very tiny difference. So like I'm both Persian and Iranian because I live inside Iran and I speak Farsi. But there are some other countries that they speak Farsi that they can say that they're Persian as well. So
right, exactly. Very, very complicated for the outsiders. Of course, that doesn't stop American podcasters from opining on the subject very, very loudly and with heavy opinions. Let's see here. Thank you. Says Persia sounds cooler. It's just because of video games. That's why. It's because of the Prince of Persia games.
Yeah.
How did you feel, by the way, about the Prince of Persia movie with starring the white guy? What was that about?
Which movie?
It was Prince of Persia movie. It came out several. It starred Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah,
you were probably still in Iran at the time. You probably didn't get to see it, but
maybe
not great.
I missed it.
All right, let's see here. If we have any more. Yes, it was Jake Gyllenhaal. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that is all, then maybe we will let you go because I know you're coming up against it here. Let's see here. What are the best ways to deal with Iranian proxies, even if it's countering their propaganda and spotting ill intent? This actually is a question I could give to you. What's the best? I would argue conversations like this are good for dispelling the falsehoods about that are forwarded by the occupying Iranian regime. But you see this propaganda every day. They counter signal you every time you post a tweet. I see it all the time. The propaganda accounts come out of the woodwork. What would you say is the best thing? Just educating people about what it's actually like in Iran, which, by the way, I commend you for doing that. What do you think is the best way to counteract that propaganda? Because I know it to be a lie, but I have experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They spend a lot of money on propaganda and all those people that spread the propaganda and fake news. They even did the propaganda on myself. They tried to twist my story about my cousin in a way that they were like U.S. bombing him. That's why he's dead. While there were no bombing, even close to him, no bombing involved. There were nothing that can be related to USA and Israel involved in his death. The only thing is Islamic regime, and Islamic regime was the cause of his death. And they tried so hard to like create these propaganda, like those Turkish news channels that getting funded by Iran, by Islamic regime, and all those news channels that are getting funded by Islamic regime. The best way to deal with these propagandas is so actually go after those news. Like they put my name, they put my picture. If you see the news, go to my page, go to my Twitter, go to my tweets, go read them, go watch my videos, go see that what I'm actually trying to like tell the world.
Right.
The reason the actual problem of those people that get manipulated, get fooled by these propaganda is that they just stick to those news channels and do not like investigate, do not educate themselves, do not go research about those news to see whether it's true or not. They just stick to that, and then they kind of like they just repeat whatever they hear from those news channels.
Yeah, I've seen so much unironic repetition of just even the fakest videos you've ever seen in your life. You can literally see like the PlayStation logo on the bottom right. Practically, you can clearly see it's from a video game or an AI or something, of jets getting knocked down. And the fog of war is intense, guys. And if there's one theme that I could bring to this conversation, and one of the reasons we had you on, and thank you so much for coming here, especially after you're still dealing with a death in the family, and my condolences on that. I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm really, really glad, and I want to congratulate you for staying strong and still going out there and getting the message out about what it's actually like in Iran, what the sentiment actually is, and counteracting some of this silly, silly propaganda that just is becoming so ubiquitous. The internet is not real life, guys, and X is even faker than that sometimes. So you got to be aware of this. And it's also why we need voices like yours who are actually there to counter signal it. So thank you so much for joining us. Anytime you want to come back on and get your message out there, if there's any further developments here, I tell you what, if the Shah gets reinstalled, you are invited back any minute for a freaking party. We would throw a shindig. It'd be freaking great. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a really great talking to you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for stopping
by.
Thank you.
Have a great night. All right, folks. Night Call says, would love to see Iran how it was before they were taken by the Islamic regime. Cheers to Iran and Iran's future. Godspeed. A lot of other countries in the Middle East hate Iran because they fund terrorism in almost every one of them. That's why I don't listen to anyone who says, oh, it only benefits Israel. Well, yeah, and that's another thing. We saw in the opening stages of the war, who did Iran bomb? Yes, Israel. Yes, American air bases, but also just Qatar and Saudi Arabia and anybody in range. And then we learned that apparently the UK is actually in range. Iran was lying about the range of their missiles and so forth. I don't suspect they have a wide capability. I don't think they have many more missiles left, if any at all. But we learned that Iran had been lying, which means the podcasters who claimed they were no existential threat to our European allies were lying too. And those people get to keep their big audiences and their big sponsorships, and nobody ever holds them accountable. Tucker Carlson never gets called on the carpet for that. He's one of the people who spread that lie. In fact, he spread it behind closed doors to Trump, as we later learned. Do other ethnicities like Kurds and the Azaris consider themselves Persian? Actually, I think the Kurds maybe, man, I don't want to sound ignorant replying to that question, but I vaguely remember the Kurds consider themselves kind of Persia adjacent or something. How despicable for a government to take money from people and spend on weapons to give to terrorists and proxies. Who would do such a thing? Well, the CIA, for one, but it's hard for a regime to stay in power for generations by constantly saying there's monsters at the gate when nothing's there. What a gift our government has given Iran's regime by proving monsters are there. What is that? And yet, what I just referenced, where they immediately launched all their missiles at all neighboring countries, including those who are not aligned with Israel, wouldn't that prove that Iran were the monsters? But of course, you only consider half of the argument, don't you, you fucking dolt? Off topic, but does the media propagandize the corruption of the coal industry in early 20th century U.S., or was it as bad as they depict it? The corruption of the coal industry in the 20th century? Well, how about the corruption of the coal unions? Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about that a little bit. Anybody remember what Teamsters union Jimmy Hoffa was in charge of? Elianes, I hope that someday soon these stories will be told to the world. We American women are so freaking spoiled, but leftists don't care. I said in my video, you can't call yourself a feminist and support this. You can't call yourself a Christian, certainly. Let's see here. Never give up your guns, folks. Good Lord in heaven. Indeed. All right. Words cannot express my anger. Islam needs to be swept away. All right. Do you think Trump is actually using the rules of acquisition as the roadmap this time? I don't remember any passage about treat your customers like family. Exploit them. I don't remember that. I don't. Thoughts on the Pat Labor game? Will we get a RazörForce arcade when it drops? I didn't even realize they were making one. I had no idea.
I heard of one. I thought it was still like an early development.
Peter Cushing would have made a great Shadow back in the day. Absolutely. And Basil Rathbun would have been amazing. Or Jeremy Brett. Any of those kind of waspy, big nose, high foreheaded actors would be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Now's a bad time to buy a 2 terabyte Series X, even at $544 on sale. No, I think it's a worse time to buy a PS5 because it's a bad console and it's $900 now. That would be terrible. All right.
No release date.
Bass player, you talk about imagine being alive to see another trip to the moon. How about being alive to see consoles completely die? I don't know about Nintendo, but I don't see Xbox or PlayStation making it another decade. I don't either. All right. Happy Holy Week, Razor. God bless my brother in Christ. I'll pray for you, Taryn, and your guys' families this Friday and Sunday. Godspeed. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
He argues that My Hero Academia is badly directed. They keep monologuing and flashing back mid-fight, and all I can say is, oh, just punch him already. Dude, so many anime are like that.
They get it from Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, they do.
How many episodes did it take Goku to power up that spirit bomb?
How many episodes was he training on the spaceship to head to Zanuck? Remember? How many episodes of doing push-ups? That was the whole episode. While Bulma and the turtle guy are flirting with each other on the island. What?
My favorite fictional planet, Xanax. It's Namek.
Namek, Xanax, whatever. It's the thing. Xanax. It's been years. It was the 90s. I don't even remember my own name.
I'm just giving you crap.
I've seen nothing but Israel spurging for the last week. Yeah, because someone's paying good money for it. Hey, Razor, you said in your Queen mythos you like Paul Rogers. What are your thoughts on Bad Company? I love Bad Company. I love Paul Rogers. He's like the greatest rock singer. All right. If IRGC, Iran can shut down the strait with its current capabilities, imagine how much worse it would be if they got nukes. Exactly. And, of course, we already had an official in Iran flat out say, we only decided to stop looking for nukes because he literally admitted that they were looking for nukes. All right.
And we do have quite a few Rumble rants if you want me to read some of those.
Please do.
Ultros. I asked before why the woke right seems to be primarily Catholic. Something I wanted to also add is, why is the Pope noticeably so vocal about politics now, specifically against Trump?
I mean, Chicago bishop.
Yeah, well.
A guy comes from Chicago. You expected him to be what? Pat Buchanan? This didn't surprise me at all. I don't know about you.
The Pope we all deserve is Pizza Balla.
There you go.
Random nobody. America was founded as a Christian country and an anti-Catholic country. Everything Catholic turns to shit.
Every Catholic turns to shit. I don't know about you, but I happen to be a part of the Church Catholic. Actually, the Apostles' Creed, it's Holy Catholic Church. Catholic just means the United Church. That's all it means. Rome appropriated that name. Unilaterally, as always, could you please give us your most Japanese shinful display for the podcast Americans? Hoi!
Ultros Tim Pool says the Unipower is trying to censor voices like Dave Smith and less politically accepted voices as political pundits. Did Trump's war on Iran leave Republicans exposed?
Exposed on what?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I heard Pam Bondi say she never had a pink slip on her desk. Well, we can see. Wasn't Tuckums the whipping boy on Crossfire? He sure was on Crossfire. He was Tucker Carlson was the designated quote unquote right-wing punching bag on PBS for all. I remember they would do those pledge drives, and then they'd do the panel on the NewsHour with the baggy-eyed Bolshevik Jim Lehrer. And Tucker was a regular fixture. Him and David Brooks were fantastic at losing with dignity. He's the John Boehner of right-wing punditry. I don't know how he got to be the sounding board for all far-right discourse. Hitch your wagon to that horse and see where it takes you, guys. All right. Siobhan had blocked me because I told her to calm down over the bridge getting smashed. She called us terrorists. 50,000 people. God bless and be with the Iranian people. Godspeed. Durf McGurf 28. Aloha, Razor. Aloha? Godspeed. I only know about the corrupt coal unions because of the Commodore 64 game Monty on the Run, whose main theme is used in the game I Want to Be the Guy. Godspeed. Okay. Great to have Mooné on the show. My wife is actually from Iran and told me all the horrors that have happened, including people having to hide in body bags amongst the dead to avoid execution until their family could find them. I've heard some awful things.
Yeah.
All right. We're seeing things in the East we've never seen. Peace is closer than ever. If reading books of Dan and Revelation makes you uncomfortable, good. Read more. Wake up and stay watchful. Thank you very, very much. One of my grandma's last memories of her father was during the moon landing, where he got up, went to his porch, looked up and said, "You think those dumb sons of bitches would wait for a full moon to land?" Godspeed. Artemis 2 being launched on April 1st will send more flat earthers to the moon than NASA. That's a good point and a very good one-liner. Very, very good, sir. Did you see the news between Beretta and Ruger? Beretta looks like it's using stock shares to put some shady investment people on Ruger's board, all for a quiet takeover. Euro's gonna Euro, I suppose. That sucks. Ruger has a huge factory out here in Prescott, actually. Big old one.
Really?
I'll read a few more, and then we're going to have to call it because it is getting very late, but we'll keep these and answer the rest tomorrow on the Razor Fist Arcade, so stay tuned. Here's my question toward the guest. Oh, crap. The IRGC dies and the Shah return. When will the leftist jackasses be racist towards the Iranian people? I'll answer this on her behalf. They already are being racist toward the Iranian people. They've been that consistently through all of this, so... all right. A bit late. Have you talked about the idea of the U.S. possibly leaving NATO and the potential of what could happen if and when they do leave? Trump has been saber rattling on that point. I would be surprised if it didn't happen before the end of his second term. It may even happen before midterms. Wouldn't surprise me. Any thoughts on that?
God, the question is, are we going to leave NATO?
Yeah. What would happen if Trump pulls the trigger on leaving NATO?
Man, they lose all their funding. They lose most of their manpower. Because, I mean, let's face it, most of those troops are ours. The good ones, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I see. You know what? I'm not going to go international with this, but I'm going to go local within NATO, within Europe. I say... you start to see a few more revolutions popping up. A little
Yeah.
more protests against the local government.
Yeah, you wonder.
Yeah, maybe, maybe we feel empowered to say Macron and all these other corrupt
Yeah.
people, maybe we don't need them anymore.
Yeah. Mr. Flynn, I got some news for you. He says, with Iran handled, the Lulberts will simp for the Chi-Coms next. I got some terrible news for you. They already are. They have been. Groypers have been sucking Chi-Com dick for a long time. They try and turn it into a boomerism, pointing out that there's clearly an op funded by Communist China, that Communist China is the largest ESG firm. They don't care. Facts bounce off these fuckheads. They don't even care that China's the #1 foreign funder of American politicians. They'll talk about Israel, who's like number 10, but they'll never talk about China. In fact, they'll suck Chinese dick. That's what they do. The double standard pre-exists the condition. Thoughts on airdropping supplies like basic cheap bolt actions, helmets, and plate carriers. When it's a two-way range, you have a chance. Bolt actions. I don't know what the bolt actions would get the job done, although I wouldn't mind having somebody airdrop a Mauser into my front porch. I'd like that quite a bit, but Godspeed. Wasn't the Spanish-American War around 1890? Yeah, I don't know.
A few more here.
Yeah, please go rock those. Actually, do those so we don't lose them.
Yeah, because once the stream ends, for some reason, I don't know if there's a permanent list on Rumble. You'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm a boomer about using Rumble, and using anything else.
Did you know Malcolm in the Middle actor Frankie Muniz has converted to Christianity and spoke about how much his faith has impacted his life recently?
Nice.
Who has come out as a Christian that surprised you? I didn't know Chris Pratt was Christian.
I was pretty sure he was a Christian. Yeah. That is a good question. Gangrel, the wrestler, the vampire wrestler. His whole gimmick is like rising from a ring of fire with vampire fangs and spitting blood on the audience.
That was kind of surprising, yeah.
And he's a devout Christian. That kind of blew my mind. Undertaker is a Christian, speaking of other wrestlers. But man, a lot of musicians and stuff. Blackie Lawless's witness is really, really strong. He wound up flat out making albums that were concept records about the crucifixion of Christ. Golgotha, go listen to it. It's a great album. It's unbelievable. Blackie Lawless has always been a powerful witness for me. So those would be some of my choices personally.
Random nobody. Have you heard of the movie Shark Side of the Moon?
No, yes, actually I have. I think
you have?
Was it on Amazon Prime or something? I can't remember.
I don't know. This is the first time I've heard it.
There are sharks on on the dark side of the moon.
My God.
Yes.
Bystander syndrome. Is the Trump admin manipulating the market similar to Biden admin? McCain fist is superior fist. Let the bomb planes flow. P.S. Should we take women's rights because majority always votes left?
What?
I don't know.
That was a lot at once. I don't even think any of those were questions.
Mercenary X, thanks for the prayers. Please keep praying for me. Also, babysitting my sister's dog. She is cuddling, and she is half the size of Cicero. I am truly blessed by God. Also, going back to work after Thursday. Cool.
No, Godspeed. Right on. Cicero crapped on my floor today, and I'm not happy with him.
He donates again to the guest. Oh, unfortunately, she's already on. Do you feel this time with Trump that he will be forced to wipe out the Iranian government, guard, military, and police level people because the leadership will lie to buy time to attack? We kind of addressed that.
We did a little bit. And talked to our guest about it. I thought she had some really good words on, don't give up until because if there's anyone left, they're going to continue these atrocities. Look at she posted about the kid who was executed today. If you leave that's the so-called moderate regime Trump was talking about, the more moderate people. They're executing 18-year-old kids for marching in the riots. That regime can't continue. It can't continue.
Just a couple of weeks ago, I forget how old he was. He was young, 22, 23 or something. A champion wrestler. I think he performed. I don't know if it was at the Olympics, but he just spoke out against the Iranian regime, and they fucking executed him.
No.
Mercenary X again. I have been seeing some videos of people in Iran of civilians ambushing the police. I saw that video. Yes,
really?
Government officials. You didn't?
No,
oh yeah, they hop out of a car and just light up an IRGC police jeep.
Yeah.
Government officials and even military personnel. How do you feel, and do you believe them to be real? Oh, I think that shit's real. Yeah, definitely.
I think so. You can usually tell whether it's AI. Usually there'll be a War Thunder logo on the bottom. If it's from the Iranian Navy. Shout out for Mike S. Miller. He launched my new wordless gospel graphic novel, Afar, on Ripascend, launched today. I'd love to talk to you about it sometime. Godspeed. That's great. Go check it out, guys. Go check it out. Makes good stuff. Keep going.
Good old one. Razor. Joe Kent with Viva and Barnes was saying Trump is just killing the moderates and leaving Iran for the more radical and real terrorists. He killed the Ayatollah. What are you talking about?
Then asking him to stop his curious tactics. Right? Hey, he's only killing the good guys. Well, we better stop right here and go home. Okay. Genius. I think we see why Joe Kent doesn't work in government or anywhere else respectable.
Sky Shrimp. Taking out the Iranian regime benefits the entire Middle East, not just Israel. And that's very true.
And again, this is so important to point out. This condition in Iran, this ongoing condition, has taken most of the 20th century, including before Israel was a country. So the idea that we were manipulated into this is utter clown shoes nonsense. Israel didn't exist when this problem started.
Mercenary X, well, the Pat Labor may not be out, but at least the 3 Front Mission remakes are available, and they are on sale right now. And he continues, the original first 3 Resident Evil games are on Steam right now for $9.99 each. I will also point out and add to this, they may be out on Steam, but they come with what is it? Software. Anti-cheat.
The spyware.
Not anti-cheat, but the anti-sharing, whatever.
Oh, I gotcha. Anti-piracy.
Not de novo specifically, but you know what I'm talking. DRM. Right. Thank you. Somebody said X.
DRM. Gosh, that's a word. That's an abbreviation, rather, we haven't heard in quite a while. Remember when DRM was the great Satan?
Yeah. But putting DRM on your 30-year-old games, great idea, guys.
Great idea. Freaking Ubisoft did that recently with Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow. Thank you very much. One finger salute to Ubisoft, retards. I had to call tech support for them to get my game to work. Idiots.
I'll also point out, guess what? Those games are now also out on GOG.
Yep.
And there is no DRM.
And there is no DRM, of course.
So pay the extra just to buy them on GOG.
Yeah.
Bystander syndrome. So this woman hasn't been there for 2 years. I was sort of hoping for something more recent. Well, I mean, what are we going to do? Fly someone in?
If you think this condition is, that's another thing. Nobody has internet reliably anyways in Iran right now. I'd love to. I've been trying to get in contact with the people that I know there, but haven't been able to for obvious reasons. They've cut off the internet for 90% of the country, for 99% of the country, really. But 2 years ago is not that long ago. And this is the latest demonstrations against the regime. Again, if I was hearing about this from an Iranian woman in 2010 and 2011, This is very much a pre-existing condition. But Razor, was your guest ever educated by someone with a liberal arts degree about Iran? Have you? Thank you for your good work, gents. Godspeed. I've been sternly reprimanded. Thank you very much. All right. Any more?
No, none from Rumble. I was just going to point out.
Yay!
It's the meme with the white liberal woman covering the mouth of the brown person saying, "Don't worry, oppressed person.
Isn't there?
I will speak for you."
Yes. Isn't there someone you forgot to ask?
Yeah.
Polly Pinko. All right. Let's see here. I'm not seeing. Hardwick is asking if I could read his previous super chat, but I'm not seeing it actually.
Control F.
But Godspeed to him anyways. Let's see here. One or two more. And actually, do we have a Hassan Piker this week?
Why? I'm so happy that you asked.
Do we? Do we? Ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, it's the sensation that's sweeping the nation. It's the Hassan Piker is a retard minute.
When you press a button, something awesome has to happen.
Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby.
It's funny every time I watch it.
Every time. Godspeed. All right.
So he spoke at. He's been making the rounds. He was appearing at what is this? For those who Stanford. He spoke at Stanford. Oh, Jesus.
Stanford. It's great. Stanford could make time to roll out the carpet for this intellectual titan.
But he speaks about the U.S. calling it the belly of the beast. And he calls for students to fight the system and warns of techno-fascist danger.
It's fascists with glow sticks. Just.
But that makes your work even more important. The Cuban patriot
He's
Jose
wearing
Marti
the Chairman Mao uniform.
He is
wearing the Chairman.
I don't know if you've heard, but he's at a very Chinese point in his life.
Yes, you meet me at a very Chinese point in my life.
He once said of living in the United States that he had lived in the belly of the beast, and thus he knew it well. You all live in the belly of the beast.
What did Desi Arnaz have to say about moving to the United States exactly? What did he have to say? What did he have to say about the people that drove him out of Cuba? Anyway, keep going.
You know it well. Use the knowledge to fight it for a better world. Sound the alarm on techno-fascist danger. Stand up for the poor and the dispossessed. Free Palestine. Thank you.
God, what a fucking tool.
What an absolute tool. I like everyone wants to they want to free Palestine from everyone except the Islamo-communists that run that not country. Palestine's the biggest puppet regime in the entire Middle East. It's been a project of global communism for decades upon decades.
Oh, he knows that.
But absolutely. That's why he supports it. He doesn't object to Palestine not being free. He objects to his people not being the puppet master. Oh my God, what a scumbag. Jesus. Oh, that was a doozy for the Hassan Piker is a retard minute, man.
Oh, it's every week, folks. Tune in.
There's never an absence of material with that douchebag. Jeez. All right, let's do one or two more and we will. Let's see here. How am I liking Fatal Fury? Who do you want on the roster? I want Raiden on the roster. I do.
Yeah, there's one more character they haven't revealed yet.
In the new DLC drop?
Yeah.
Okay. Overthrown Islamic terrorist funding regime and get an ally in the region that isn't just Israel. Why are people against that again? If you watched our preceding interview, you know exactly why. Lost my job yesterday. Keep me in your prayers, please. We will. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Godspeed and good luck. hold to prayer and make sure that you're out there getting your resumes and all that stuff out there. Just don't give up, because man, I went through a period of lengthy unemployment during the Great Recession that was brutal. It was like the most brutal. I had never been between jobs for longer than a few days before, and I know how rough it can be. So Godspeed and God bless, man. Artemis 4 is going to land on the moon. Artemis 3 will test the landing stuff, but the real deal is next year, as the Archbishop of Orlando has the most territory in his archdiocese. Okay, Godspeed. Cue NES DuckTales moon theme and Mario Galaxy Battle Rock Galaxy themes. Yes, sir. And one more. One more. Last night, actually, we'll do two more because I clicked on that one by accident. Last night, I witnessed one of the brightest full moons you could ever see. Yeah, whose ass was it? God bless and Godspeed to the Artemis 2 crew. Our future in space is near. When it comes to the moon, my 2 demands: a base located on the dark side of the moon named Sid, after Syd Barrett of Pink Floyd. And the official greeting must be A-E-I-O-U. Or A-E-I-O-U, or A-E-U-A-O. Godspeed, folks. Thank you. This was a wild edition of the RazörForce Offensive. I want to thank our guest for coming on. She is more than welcome to come back on anytime. A very, very brave thing she's doing. And her family are very, very brave for even allowing her to do it, because they could all be subject to rebuke and harassment and possibly imprisonment and death. So I hope you guys fully appreciate that before you go spurging and repeating Dave Smith's uninformed talking points from some lolbert who didn't know shit about Iran before this war even popped off, but was happy to predict war with Iran and World War III immediately after, which I'm still fucking waiting, by the way. When's World War III showing up? Hey, Taryn, any line on that? No?
Is World War III in the room with us now?
Is it telling you to harm yourself or others? Shall we hide any sharp objects? But folks, you heard today from someone who not 2 years ago was in Iran. And you heard from a host who knows lots of people who have been in Iran and may still be there right now. If you're going to take your anti-war position, you're going to need better arguments than the Iranian regime are not shitbags. You're going to need much, much, much better arguments than that. And you're going to need a hell of a lot better arguments than Israel, because it's not an argument. And we were frankly a little too soft on some of you Spurg right assholes, but that's all right. We'll take care of that now. Folks, for Taryn Gell, for our guest, and for the departed tactical hobo, until next time, don't get captured, and Godspeed!
RazörForce.